Welcome to the second episode of DH Bengaluru 2040 Summit, where we dive deeper into the exciting developments of this spectacular event. In the first episode, we set the stage and introduced you to the buzz surrounding the fourth edition of this summit. In the second episode, we take you even further inside the action, featuring captivating moments from the panels, electrifying performances, and exclusive fireside chats you won't want to miss. Let's get started.
Well, diving into the future. Now, turns out that Bangalore generates over 6,000 tons of solid waste every day. And the government of Karnataka, while it has come up with the urban solid waste management policy in 2020, the city continues to grapple with mounting piles of solid waste, and a problem that is definitely going to compound in the years to come. So the question now is, how can we achieve sustainable development goals in waste management? Dr. Sudhir, over to you, sir.
I think the challenge for us to deliberate in this panel is to really look at how do we reimagine and sort of strategize towards taking up towards a cleaner Bangalore. And speaking of which, I think one of them that if you have not really come across is there has been some very good developments too. And one of them happens to be the Bangalore Climate Action and Resilience Plan.
So, as you mentioned, Bangalore is only the third city in the country to have a climate action and resilience plan. After an effort of around 4 to 5 years and doing the greenhouse gas emission inventorization, BBMP came up with a climate action and resilience plan in 2023, November. And the idea was to, provide a roadmap to the city on how to go ahead with the complex challenges of climate change and how to deal with the climate hazards which the city is facing lately.
Probably the circular economy is not been taken up in a right way. Circular economy is very important. Probably the waste is not been, it should all be nothing like waste. The entire waste, any waste can be converted into a resource. Let it be in a manure or the recycling, everything can be done, which has not been taken up. Probably many attempts have been made, which is not good enough. Probably we need to take a strong step. Climate change, I think it's more for the good discussion. First of all, the basic things only have not been addressed. The climate change is a very important issue, I agree. It needs to be taken up more seriously in education system because we need to gear up in the terms of agriculture, how we can have the withstand the climate change with regard to the living in city or with regard to the many other profession, agriculture, many other areas. It's definitely a pressing challenge. Probably in this direction, I call upon and we are willing to work with the government. We have been always cooperating.
So I feel waste management is not a rocket science. Let's keep it down. All that it requires is the leadership for sure and all our participation. What we have also seen positive, we have also seen areas there have been challenges. 3 things I would say, if BBMP can fix it, then it will be done. One is collection system has to be strengthened, especially in the commercial establishment. I feel the citizens are doing a lot in segregation, so the collection system has to be fixed. One, processing has to immediately start at a large, scale, and space for waste pickers and other citizens to be there. And all of us as consumers, I'm also a consumer of BBMP services, so I as a consumer also need that kind of a good services.
With the rapidly increasing population in Bengaluru, the city has been battling its never-ending traffic jams, leaving commuters stuck for hours. The immense pressure on Bengaluru's infrastructure can be minimized by embracing green mobility. It can be the key to elevating this issue, reducing pollution, and building a more sustainable and efficient transportation system for the city's future. Next panel for the day delve deeper into this subject.
In Bengaluru's context, IISc research has shown that using integrated public transport system would help us achieve 80% sustainability by 2041. With that note, I think we should just start. See, we have several problems. We are living with problems when it comes to mobility, but we do have some models. I think let's hear from our panelists as to how we can leverage these models and what is stopping us from, in fact, utilizing these models.
Just to give an example, Copenhagen today is widely known as the cycling capital of the world, but it did not happen overnight. It took them 40 years. They ran campaigns and slogans for 40 years saying real men do not drive cars but drive bicycles. Of course, today we have to change that to real citizens, not real men. And to own a car, you need to pay 180% sales tax over and above the car value. Additionally, parking charges, fuel charges, etc. are more expensive. So we need to take steps in making these brave policies that disincentivize private transport. Because while there will be a lot of opposition, while it will make a lot of us uncomfortable, unless we do that, we cannot start taking genuine steps towards sustainable mobility.
So how is BBMP, Mr. Tushar Girinath, how is BBMP trying to utilize these ideas to make the city pedestrian and cyclist friendly?
Thank you. Whatsoever my previous speaker was saying, I mean, it's absolutely true, and this is how the growth happens. But she had also mentioned that it takes a lot of time to see the changes. We have to recognize that no city has sorted out or solved this problem without having good mass rapid transport system, public transport system. That is a given. To reach to that and to allow those many buses on our roads and also allow the public who is purchasing the private cars, we are not banning the private car industry or anything of that sort. We are saying you bring the cars, it is allowed. We are not stopping the registration in Bangalore. So we are saying it is you come up, you are earning enough of money, you deserve a car, you move on in the car. But we should provide enough of alternatives.
Urban living has led to a surge in air travel, making it essential to address the growing demand for efficient, accessible, and sustainable air transport solutions in bustling cities. As Bengaluru's population continues to rise, the burden on the city's airport grows, raising the question of whether additional airports are needed to accommodate the increasing air travel demand. Here's what the next panel emphasized upon.
So my first question would go to Ms. Khushbu, who is the MD of KSIIDC. You would have been a part of several meetings, several brainstorming sessions about the airport, and you would have perhaps vetted through hundreds of parameters. So what would be the top 3 parameters that you think of when you select the location for the second airport?
There are a lot of parameters which have been considered. The top 3, in my opinion, would be, one is the technical suitability. Of course, this should not be in a hill terrain, for example. This should not be near any lake, water bodies. It should not be very near to a forested area, and it should not be near a congested, populated area. That would be one of the parameters. Second would be the connectivity. So it should already have some sort of existing connectivity, some road connectivity, if possible, mass rapid transit system, bus connectivity. So connectivity, existing connectivity would be an important aspect. Third important would be the distance which people would have to travel to reach that airport. For example, the current airport, many parts of the Bangalore city, people from many parts have to travel a long distance to reach the current airport. So minimizing the average distance which an average Bangalorean has to travel to that airport would be another important aspect.
With regards to industrial point, if you take it up, I think the government has already allocated 2 points. They should look into the infrastructure as well as the connectivity from the industrial hubs where looks like that as of now it is needed. The second airport is needed for the development, accessibility, connectivity, and developments with regards to the industries. A lot of people who are coming to Bangalore, it may be for the business or it may be for the tourism or medical tourism, a lot of things which are there. To growth of the revenue of Bangalore in the industry perception, it is needed.
Coming up next, we'll dive into some expert insights on tackling cybercrimes, a presentation by the students of Euro School, reclaiming concert scene in the vibrant city, talks on art, entertainment and much more. Stay tuned. On the sidelines of the insightful discussions aimed at easing the future in Bengaluru, a stunning musical performance lit up the event. Chakraphonics Trio presented a sonic journey through cultures, captivating the audience and adding an unforgettable energy to the atmosphere. As metropolitan and urban living becomes increasingly digital, there is a rise in cybercrimes. The next panel discussion was themed around tackling cybercrime in India's Silicon Valley.
Now, Bengaluru, being the Silicon Valley of India, in the last 1 year alone, that is in 2024, reported over 18,000 cases of cybercrimes. At the same time, the victims have lost a whopping 1,800 crore rupees. Now, while that sinks in, I want to begin this conversation with Dr. Salim. We have seen how cybercrimes have evolved rapidly in the last few years. From the point of view of a senior law enforcement officer, what are the key challenges in tackling cybercrime today?
Information technology today is playing a very important role in everybody's life. In fact, it has made our life much easier, we can say. But the flip side is that it is also being used by the culprits or the accused persons to commit cyber crimes. The major challenges as far as the police is concerned is these cyber crimes are actually I can say they are geographically not confined to one place or one particular thing like traditional crimes.
Right.
And the major challenge is the culprits sit in some corner of the country or some other nation and they commit cyber crimes. And since the different countries have different definitions and different cyber laws, the assistance from particularly at the international level is little difficult. Although we have MLAT, there is a mutual legal assistance treaties, but it is a very slow and slow process. So that is one major challenge.
Amid a gathering of the thought leaders, a group of students lent their youngest voices. The students from Euro School passionately voiced their thoughts on saving the environment, sharing innovative ideas for building a greener and more sustainable future for Bengaluru.
Bangalore, also known as the Silicon Valley of India, boasts a vibrant tech industry and a rich cultural heritage.
With its pleasant climate and diverse culinary scene, it's a city where technology meets tradition. The name of our project is Bengaluru Reborn. It has 3 phases. Let's begin with phase 1.
Phase 1, the vertical farming policy. Bangalore, our city of innovation, is growing fast. But so are its challenges. With land becoming scarce and the demand for food rising, it's time for a smarter solution. Vertical farming.
Phase 2, photovoltaics. Bengaluru, the Silicon Valley of India and the Garden City. But even with these titles, it still faces growing pains, especially with energy. Think about it. Industries, homes, traffic, everything needs energy. And usually, this comes from sources that contribute to pollution. But what if we told you that there is a largely untapped resource right under our noses, shimmering under the sun? Yes, it's Bengaluru's beautiful lakes.
Bengaluru has a rich history of being a vibrant hub for concerts, where music has long been a key part of the city's cultural identity. A group of panelists spoke on what Bengaluru can do to reclaim its concert scene.
Let's start with a bit of context. So, our city is not new to a vibrant music culture, and events are not new to our city either. And Bruce, I was hoping you could start us off with a little bit of background. How have you seen this space evolve in the past 10 years in terms of bands, in terms of new artists emerging, in terms of diversity of genres as well? What have you observed?
I think across the last 10 years, between 2015 and now, the sheer number of artists that are coming out and have the opportunity to write, record, and release their material has again exponentially increased. Also because the methods of production and release have become so democratized thanks to technology, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean that all of those artists are building effective, sustainable, long-term careers in the industry. And we find that a lot of young artists have to wear multiple hats to have a sustainable career in music, right? Because it's not like there's a very kind of understood roadmap to success if you want to be a full-time musician.
I think we still are, we always will be the rock capital because of the kind of audiences that we have. We've got the youngest audiences from across the country. The maximum number of concerts, EDM parties and everything that happen are only in Bangalore. So, which means we always have been and will continue to be a rock capital. But the way to go about it is from a consumer, there's a perception that people have, right? Consumers think, oh, we don't have proper infrastructure, we don't have transportation, we don't have better venues, whatever. That's from a consumer's standpoint, the difficulty in attending an event, from the food, beverages, toilets, facilities, sanitation, everything is a challenge. But from a promoter's point of view, a person who's organizing an event, it takes so much of an effort for them to actually connect with bands, whether international, domestic, get sponsorships, build from the ground up, from nothing, from a ground to build an infrastructure, and then hope for them to be able to make money in return. It's a huge challenge that they kind of face, and I think they need to be rewarded, they need to be recognized, they need to be valued.
Ramya, a renowned actor and producer, added a touch of glitter to the DH Bengaluru 2040 Summit. The former Member of Parliament, who is known for her versatile roles on screen, spoke on the need of supercharging arts and entertainment in Bengaluru.
So let's now look at some other aspects of the arts and entertainment. And you have been a leading lady in 40 plus films, many of them hits, big hits. You debuted with Puneet Rajkumar with the film Abhi. And now you've turned producer.
Yeah.
So
it didn't go very well.
With Swati Murthinamala.
Yeah, we won all the awards but didn't make any money.
What is Bangalore's identity in terms of arts, entertainment and culture? Because we have Chennai with its films and Carnatic music. There's Hyderabad with its blockbuster cinema. There's Mumbai with Bollywood.
Yeah.
What is Bangalore's identity?
I think this is a personal opinion. Bangalore's identity would be that it has no identity, in the sense that it's been constantly evolving, transforming, growing, innovating. So the minute I give it an identity, then I think I'm limiting Bangalore's art and cultural scene, right? But when I don't define it, then I'm giving it that space to grow, to evolve into something that we may not even know, right? Because Bengaluru is not what it used to be before. It's changed, right?
So what can the government and the private sector do in terms of, you were talking about how we need better writing in cinema. Would the academy, say, be the right place, the Chalanachitra Academy, to perhaps hold writing workshops and encourage good writing, maybe hold contests for scripts?
Yeah.
What ideas would you suggest for the government to encourage better cinema?
I think you've given great ideas yourself. I think that's a good start. They could hold these workshops and they could call in, stories that people have written and probably fund a film maybe. So that's encouraging for people to not just write stories, but to see that come to life, right? That's encouraging. And there's a lot of talent out there, but there are no opportunities as such for them to kind of showcase their talent. So I think that's a great idea.
After a day full of bustling panels and vibrant discussions, the DH Bengaluru 2040 Summit drew to a close with closing remarks by S.R. Ramakrishna, Associate Editor, Deccan Herald.
It's my proud privilege to propose a vote of thanks as we come to the end of a day of intense conversations and brainstorming. I'm sure the many ideas and thoughts shared on this stage today will go a long way in ushering in a better tomorrow for Bengaluru. On behalf of Deccan Herald, I thank all our speakers and panelists who shared their ideas and insights, and our distinguished guests who took the time to attend the summit. Thank you.
With this, DH Bengaluru 2040 Summit concluded with thought-provoking discussions and stories of inspiration. As we wrap up this special episode dedicated to building a new Bengaluru, let's carry forward the vision of an innovative, greener, and more sustainable future for Namma Bengaluru.